Aloha haumai. Welcome again. As we gaze out into the waters, we can see the approaching flotilla of our outrigger canoe community and our Muckleshoot family. They await the arrival of Hokule'a, escorted in by our Suquamish family. They will unite right out front here at Pier 62. On this very auspicious morning. Times like this, Hawaiian people are observant of signs of nature, messages that remind us of what's important, of how to prepare for what's in front of us, how to keep in mind the things that have come before us. So on this morning, we look out at the sky, the movement of the water. Some things we will all see. Some things only individuals will see. But our senses are open and aware at moments like this. The people of Hawaii feel deeply connected to the indigenous people of these lands. One of the many ways in which we feel akin is the water. We are water people. And although our islands, Hawaii, in the northern Pacific, is quite a distance from here, we trace our homelands to the south, to archipelagos in the vicinity of Kahiki or Tahiti. And we're connected to our Polynesian family extended throughout the Pacific region, all the way down south to Aotearoa, New Zealand, out to the Far East, Rapa Nui. And our languages are connected, going back millennia, originating in the areas of island Southeast Asia, and even to areas, the area today known as Taiwan. Our languages are from the same tree. So that lets us know that the intelligence of Pacific peoples and the ingenuity to create amazing ancestral technologies enabled the peopling of the Pacific in the most profound way. That's how we're connected. At this time, we are witnessing the coming together of our Muckleshoot family and the Suquamish family. And our Suquamish present Hōkūleʻa to the Muckleshoot for greeting. Our traditions of welcome are similar. We ask permission to enter places that are new to us. We never presume to enter the home of others without first seeking permission. According to the local traditions here, the same will occur. We wish to know who you are and where you come from. Why are you here? And the response of visitors: we have come to lift up your people and to honor your ancestors and to bring the love of our home to you, our hosts. This is the same in indigenous cultures around the world. It is the same here. You will hear oli. People will spontaneously offer chants from within our Hawaiian community to fill the air with blessing, to call the goodness of humanity. We invite and we encourage the spontaneous sharing of oli and chants and goodwill from all nations. It is the indigenous way to humble oneself, to approach quietly, to lower ourselves and to lift up our hosts. No greater value or virtue is there than hospitality. The welcoming of strangers into your home. The search for connections. We acknowledge the call of welcome from our seabirds. And now we see Hokule'a and our Suquamish family about ready to meet. The crew of the Hokule'a call out, "A honua, a hokua o ka'ale, a ka ho'okui o Hokule'a." Here we are on the crest of the wave, at the zenith, at the horizon. Liu liu malana I ka hu'akai, e ina ka hoa wa'a, a lono ka hea hea aloha. We are seasoned with readiness. And the creaking of the lashing on the canoe is likened to the creaking of the bones of weary travelers who seek to be received by our gracious hosts. He velina aloha e. The voice of welcome. There's nothing sweeter, nothing warmer than the call of love. Ka hea hea aloha. Those will be the words that are uttered by the crew to our Suquamish and Muckleshoot family. One of the iconic images of the Polynesian voyaging canoe is the crab claw sail. And we share with folks that the Hokule'a is navigated by the stars. The winds fill the sail, and we feel the ocean currents, and this is how we navigate. There are no modern instruments used as we travel throughout the Pacific across thousands of miles. We depend on ancestral science. No modern navigational equipment. So it's not a canoe that can be pulled or paddled. Hence our lauding the winds and the waves, our ancestors, as we sail through familiar and foreign waters. We can see now our tribal canoes. They are gathering. As a welcoming party, an esteemed welcoming party. They gather in a circle upon the waters that they have traveled and cared for and loved for thousands of years. Waters that they know well. Waters that know them well. Eia mai o Hokule'a. Behold the arrival of Hokule'a. We see now the approaching flotilla of the outrigger canoes. Our family from Hawaii who have made their home here in the Seattle, Tacoma, and Northwest region. We miss them, we love them. They bring Hawaii here, and we embrace them as our family. They now approach their canoe, their wa'a, kaulua, Hokule'a. We invite you to be sensitive to the signs of nature, ho'ailona, that speak to this moment. In the water, in the air, all around us. We are aware of the signs that let us know this is a special moment. the crew of Hokule'a just asked permission to come ashore, and they said a prayer of blessing for this place. Hōkūleʻa. What an amazing water welcome for the Hokule'a. The exchange of courtesies, the spirit of kindness is alive and well here in Seattle. I keia manawa e pai koke ana o Hokule'a I uka. Soon Hokule'a will then be coming inland and tying up to the dock and prepare for the welcome on land. O iai e ho'i aku. Ko mako ohana o wiwi o i ho'i ka Muckleshoot a me Suquamish ma I ko lako mau aina kulaiwi. E o e ka uiwi Muckleshoot me Suquamish, e o ke aloha, ke aloha. Aloha nui mai, aloha. Au e ke aloha o nā kupa ina marihini, au e ke aloha e, velina, aloha. Ke aloha e nā oiwi. E ka ohana Muckleshoot a me Suquamish, ke aloha. Aloha me o ko pakaiā pauloa. Ke ia ho'okipa aloha ana mai a mako o Hokule'a ma. Nui ke aloha, mahalo, mahalo a nui loa. May love and blessings be yours for this amazing welcome here at Pier 62. Ke aloha, aloha kakoa pauloa. Huu! Aloha, e ka hui vae. Aloha kakoa pauloa, e ka hui va'a. And what a magnificent display by the fireboat, the Seattle Fire Department. Incredible. At this time, Hokule'a will be maneuvering and tying up at the floating dock. And as the crew disembarks, there will be some brief protocols. And how about a wave off to our ohana, our families of the water. Our indigenous families, our tribal families. Our Huiva'a outrigger canoe families. Aloha, ke aloha nui, aloha. Hui. Aloha nui mai kakoa paulo e ka hui va'a. Ke aloha. Aloha nui. Much love, much affection. To our tribal families, aloha, ke aloha nui. Aloha, mahalo, mahalo a nui. Ke ia ho'okipa, helu e kahi ana mai a mākou na Hawaii. Aloha, aloha nui. We will now prepare for the disembarking of the Hokule'a and Kolea, its escort boat, at the floating dock. Mahalo. He leo aloha ke ia ia o kou. E ka Hōkūleʻa. Aloha nui mai. Aloha. As the crew makes ready, the wa'a, the canoe, prepares it and makes sure it's tied up safely. They will disembark, and then they will observe some landing protocols. And we invite our community to join in those protocols. We saw a spectacular welcome by water, and then we'll take a few moments to go through proper welcoming protocols upon entering land. This afternoon from 1 o'clock to about 4 o'clock, 4:30, there will be canoe tours, and we invite you to come take a close-up look at the Hokule'a in the afternoon. But at this moment, we are in a spirit of gratitude and humility. Ayanoya oilayana. Hanaho maluna. Ai. Ho'omaka ka polokalamu I ka hola hapalua hola umi. So, ka'i. Ai, mahape. Aia a pau na oli a pau, a laila, ka'i ana I luna nei. Mahalo. Ia Va'anui, this large canoe. It is a long peleleu canoe. The birds of the uplands, the Iiwi, yellow-eyed Iiwi bird. We have come to the end of our prayers. E o Hokule'a, iku mau mau. The hauling of the trees from the uplands to the sea to create the canoe. A feeling of unity amongst our people, iku mau mau. Please help me welcome the crew of the Hokule'a. Ki aloha, aloha. Welcome to Seattle. An amazing community of love and kindness. At this time, the crew will make their way up into this ceremonial area, and we'll be getting the program at about 10:30. That's in about 20 minutes. Please join us. Mahalo. Aloha.
Check. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Aloha mai kakao. My name is Nate Caminos, and I'm the Director of Government Relations for the Port of Seattle. And I'll be serving as one of the co-MCs this morning, along with my dear friend, Sui-lan, who you'll get to hear from shortly. But welcome, everyone, to all the people gathered here today at Pier 62, the waterfront park, and to the many more back home in Hawaii and across the world for tuning in from our live stream. Today we celebrate the historic visit of the iconic Hawaiian voyaging canoe, the Hokule'a. What a spectacular water to welcome in Elliott Bay just moments ago. There were hundreds of people here on the pier, yet you could only hear whispers at most among the crowd. I, like many of you, felt the beauty and meaning of that moment and this moment that brought us all together today. Mahalo to our hosts, the Suquamish tribe and Muckleshoot Indian tribe, and the Outrigger Canoe community for the water welcome. We also want to express our thanks to the Seattle Fire Department and the U.S. Coast Guard for their on-water support. Mahalo nui loa. You know, I want to acknowledge that all that you see here today and what's on tap from now on through Tuesday started with a conversation back in March with Commissioner Fred Fellman from the Port of Seattle and our friends at Visit Seattle, Kaulani Robinson and Tom Norwalk. You know, the commissioner, not knowing I was born and raised in Oahu, asked if I could help explore the possibility of supporting a canoe voyage from Hawaii. And I obviously said yes. Since then, with the help of the many hosts and partners that grew these past several months, it's amazing for me, this one little boy from Waipahu, to see what started as an idea on a Zoom call turn into what we see before us and have planned in the days ahead. Uncle Randy, Auntie Lita, Sonia, and the PVS family, I felt adopted by these past several months. Mahalo. But my co-MC isn't just someone that's joining me on stage with me today, but has been a key partner of mine leading up to today as well. You know, I was mentioning to Sui-lan earlier, we were connected by Facebook, I believe, knowing that we were going to be working on this together. And then at the Paddle to Muckleshoot event, the community center, this one lady came by and said, "Hey, can you take a picture?" So I took her picture, her and her crew, and then I said, "Wait a minute." I pulled up her Facebook profile. "Are you Sui-lan Huakano?" But it was fate that brought us together at that moment, but also in the way that our partnership, along with many others, the way we worked conceptually to identify and then see it play out so far this morning on the water was quite beautiful, so thank you. But Captain Bruce Blankenfield and the crew of the Hokule'a and Kolea, we welcome you to Seattle. We have a wonderful program for you today, so let's get started. I'll hand it off to Sui-lan. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't usually read by script, but I'm gonna try. Aloha kako. I'm Sui-lan Ho'okano, and this moment has been, it is a dream, right? It's a dream come true for most of us. And I'm a community member, but more importantly, I am in relations with our Kanaka Ohana and our relatives here as well. One of the things we want to do is we want to acknowledge and mahalo ina kanaka e ke ia aina o me kakai o aina, of the lands and the waters of this place. And we want to continue, I'm going to take my glasses off. We want to continue to express our gratitude to our Suquamish and our Muckleshoot relatives in their hosting and their relationships that we continue to build in this space, and acknowledge that we have a long-standing relationship with our relatives, and we have a responsibility to you all as well As Kanaka who live here and who work here and have now navigated here, it is our responsibility, and it is all of our responsibilities to understand their history, their navigation, and the relations and our responsibility to the lands and to the people of this place. I have continued to make sure that that's been part of my journey. And Hokule'a and the Moana Nui Kea voyage is taking that globally. How we stand in relationship and understand the environment and the people that we then share time in. So we're acknowledging their ancestors and their future generations, our Suquamish and Muckleshoot relations, and the continuation of what that looks like as we all move forward to provide opportunities for our youth to have a healthy opportunity to grow in their education and their lived experiences as tribal students, children, and native children of the lands of these places. It is with great honor that I introduce Chairman Leonard Forsman to the stage to say some words in regards to our relations. And I'm going to turn it over to him, but before we do that, we want to acknowledge the hostings that they've had these last few days, the gracious opportunity, the food that they've fed us and our crew and Hokule'a, and just the aloha that continues to be spread throughout the journey. This work has been a collective of all of us, and none of us do this work alone. And when we begin to understand what that looks like to be in relationships, then the work gets done. And so, Chairman Leonard Forsman, thank you.
Hōkūle'a, East Grove for that. Welcome. I'm Leonard Forsman, Chairman of the Suquamish Tribe, and just like to take this opportunity to welcome everybody here to the city of Seattle, the home of Chief Seattle. And it was just great to come over on the Hokule'a myself with one of our esteemed cultural ambassadors, Kalina Lawrence, and learn about their values and traditions, which are very similar to ours. And to see our Muckleshoot and Suquamish canoes together, welcoming the Hokule'a into these waters was very, very powerful. And I just appreciate everybody has put everything together to make this a good day. I think it's important, of course, you'll be hearing a lot of this message, but you can never stop telling our stories. And that's one thing Billy Frank Jr., one of our elders, said, was that you got to keep telling your story. And we will keep telling it. And the people who are the crew of the Hokule'a and their supporters have been continuing to carry that same message, which is to take care of these waters, take care of these lands, take care of this air, take care of the animals and the fish and all those things to preserve what the Creator has given us. And when our people signed the Treaty of Point Elliott, Chief Seattle signed for the Suquamish in 1855, that was what was promised, was that we'd be able to continue to hunt, fish, gather, and then also have health, education, and welfare in exchange for us giving up our land that we had for thousands and thousands of years. And we've taken that responsibility to make sure everybody remembers that promise that was made then. And today, Suquamish and Muckleshoot will hold all of these government officials around here, and they know it, accountable to that. And I appreciate all the people who vote some of these people in that are honoring that as well. So hands up to all of you as well. But our two canoes, the Siama Oaks and the KākalaH, came in with the Hokule'a, and they really represent a cultural resurgence of our people. So we shared a lot of that at the House of Weight and Culture the night before last. As our friends from Muckleshoot can say, the days have been kind of running together in August. But it's just been like, it's been one long day, August has, but it's been a beautiful day. It's been tiring, but we were able to host them over there with some of our traditional foods, salmon and shellfish, and also share some of our songs there. So it was a great honor to be able to do that. And we heard some of their beautiful messages, some of their beautiful songs as well. So with that, I'd just like to say once again, ahoy chud.
Mahalo, Chairman Forsman. And it's through these relations that we continue to forge the opportunity for the growth of our students in our huiva'a and our homona and our communities. I'm going to call forward the skipper of the, or if there's, for the Muckleshoot tribal nation that brought the canoe over, Willard Bill Jr., will you please take the stage? While he's walking up here, I want to let everybody know that, you know, Will and I have a very long relationship as Va'a, as canoe people. When I first moved here, it was because of my relationship with Willard Bill Jr. that I was able to sustain myself as a Kanaka in a canoe. And it was through these relations that we continue to push that in education, and we have successfully been able to navigate these teachings, our canoe teachings from both of our communities into an educational pathway to where now the state of Washington is recognizing the benefit of our Native communities and our assets. And as I bring my brother, as I call my brother forward, you know, he's gonna speak on behalf of his relations with us, but also his important role as a canoe family member. And I think that's the key in finding those relationships. But brother, welcome.
Atzlahel Tsiaya, Willard Bill Jr. Titsta, Muckleshoot Abshed. Thank you, Sui-lan. I appreciate that. Thank you, Chairman Forsman, for being here and honoring those words. I don't think any of our council here. I'm going to ask Miss Eileen Richardson, our language director for the Muckleshoot tribe, is going to come up. And Eileen's actually going to speak on behalf of the tribe, but I want to thank Sui-lan for honoring me to come up and just share a few words. It's such an honor to share our waters with you. And we want to welcome you to Zitziolage, the true name of where we stand today. This is our shared village here and our ancestral waters here in the Salish Sea. And for many of us, our people come directly from these homelands. So from Suquamish Head, where my great-great-grandfather used to live and was displaced, and our many people that come from in this area. I know Leonard has many relationships here as well, and we raise our hands to you. But us to never forget that. And our teaching is that when we speak that language and we sing these songs, that our ancestors are with us, and they're here today. And to our Kanaka, we want to raise our hands to you and everyone in Hokule'a for what you're doing. We shared a few words over at Alkai. We were saying, because what it is, for us, it affirms what we've always known, that our ancestor was great. Our ancestors were mighty. They were super intelligent. We always had the science and the math, right? They may not show in these public schools, these private schools, but we always knew these things. We come from high-class people. Every Muckleshoot you see here come out today descends from a warrior society that took up arms against the United States militias that used to roam this area and used to crucify our people and hang them right down the street here. But we're taking that back. So we stand with you, Hokule'a. We raise our hands to you. And what we shared over there today is we're no longer taking a back seat. We come first. And those treaty rights that our ancestors fought for, that's what they want us to speak today. We come first. Not these ferries, not these ships out here. It's us. This is our homeland. Hosimsia. I apologize. I'm going to introduce Miss Eileen Richardson. Eileen is the language director for the Muckleshoot Indian tribe, and we got a little protocol, a little work we want to do on the floor here with you all. So,
Hōkūleʻa, Tuagwalapu. Good day to all of you. Eileen Richardson, Seedsta, Muckleshoot Abshed. Marguerite Pacheco, Sage Skoy, Gwil Randy Richardson, T. Tude Bod. Flora Daniels Pacheco, C. Tud Kaya Guo, Walter Pacheco Sr., T. Tud Sapa. My name is Eileen Richardson. I'm a Muckleshoot tribal member. My mother is Marguerite Pacheco. My father was Randall Richardson. My grandmother was Flora Daniels Pacheco, and my grandfather was Walter Pacheco Sr., and I'm from the Daniels family. Hot Tlechela Altis Leche. Welcome on this day. As Joe Ilchach at the Gwaslab de Bushled. It is joyful for us to see all of you. Will did a lot of summing up for the rest of it for us, but we just wanted to welcome to you all to the ancestral lands of our people. And as Joe Ilchach at the Gwaslab de Bushled, it is joyful for us to see you and to be a part of this. It would have been wonderful if we could have align this with our canoe journey hosting that we just completed, but we understand that things happen on their own time. So at this time, Muckleshoot and Hawaiian is going to sing a song for you all.
I want to acknowledge my sister Eileen and Autumn as well. We've all done a lot of work together in our communities, continuing to serve our youth and our future generations. And so I really appreciate our songs and our ability to work that, and our relations as well, even connections through the islands. But at this time, they're going to take care of some business on the floor. So we have some gifts on behalf of Muckleshoot Obsh. We have a few Pendleton blankets that we would like to gift. Nainoa, Bruce, and La'ana, please step forward, stand or step forward. We also have 4 shawls
We are gonna gift that to Auntie Lita. Can you please come to the stage, Auntie Lita? Upla. Sonia. Sonia. Nicole. And the last shawl we're going to give to Auntie Lita to hold for the time being. And then we have a drum and a blanket, the throw blanket, and a drum bag for Uncle Randy for all the coordinating and all the hard work that he's done for all of this. Nate, we have a drum for Nate. A drum and a drum bag. There's a few more items, so we're just gonna go ahead and turn that over to the LPD should, and they can distribute it as they see fit. Igwi Tabu Sled. Thank you. Okay. Now we're going to sing an honor song for you all.
Oh,
And at this time, we're going to transition to where our Hokule'a will start the Hawaii protocol in response. And as we transition into that space, I just want to let everyone know, again, it's because of these relations. And the Muckleshoot canoe family was the very first canoe family that I was able to paddle in when I came here. And those relations were really profound for me. As I began to paddle with them, I learned their history. I learned about their ancestral stories. I sang their songs with them. So I'm Hana'ed, which is taken in by the canoe family. And then that's how I've been able to sustain my need for being in the canoe. And again, it's about building those relations. And so at this time, we're going to ask our Hokule'a crew to reciprocate their protocol. Mahalo.
Mai ka hikina loa ka lā, ai ki kaulana ka lā, ka pai ōpua i ke kai. He leo Velina, he leo aloha ki ia ia oko a pau i ka po'e o Seattle. Aloha. E no mākou ka ohana o ka waakau lua o Hōkūleʻa. Ai hele mai nei mākou me ke aloha nui i ko kākou aina, a me ke aloha nui a me ka mahalo nui no na oiwi o kia aina. The Suquamish me ka Muckleshoot. Mahalo nui ia oko e ka oiwi. E kū mau oko ma kia aina nei. Ola. Ua hola pū kākou ka ohana wa'a o Hokuleʻa. Me ke aloha nui no ko kākou ohana ma Maui ke kahi. Ua pilikia ke kahi o ko kākou mau ohana ma Lahaina I ke ahi veli veli. He noi wale ke ia no ka leo pule no lākou. No ke kāko'o. Hele pū mai kākou ma kia huaka'i moana nui a kea. E lō kahi ai, a kūli ke ai na oiwi o ka honua. I hiki a kākou ke alaka'i I ka holomua o ka honua. We give warm greetings to the people of Seattle and thank you so much for having us here. Mahalo to the Suquamish and Muckleshoot, the natives of this place. May your families always be here forever and ever and ever as it has always been. Our Ohana Wa'a travels here to circumnavigate the Pacific, but we travel to with heavy hearts because of our families in Maui and in Lahaina. We ask for your continued prayers and support for them as they recover. Aloha nui Maui, aloha nui Lahaina. We love you guys. We also travel on the mission of Moana Nui Akea to connect to our host families and communities. One day the world will look back to indigenous peoples and native peoples to how to take care of our land. We know how, we can lead the way. And so mahalo to our families from here for having us. We are honored to be in this beautiful space and to share it with you guys. Aloha maulua kākou ko kākou aina. Aloha nui ho'i e. Mahalo.
Moko moko. Hoi. Holo ike kai. Hoi hoi. Hoi hoi. Holo ika i a. Hoi hoi. Hoi hoi. Hoi ike kai. Kue kue. Kue kue. Ya maa Hokule'a. E a ka wa'a e a Hokule'a ku. Holo ike kai. Hoi hoi. Hoi hoi. Holo ika i a. Hoi hoi. Hoi hoi. Hoi ike kai. Kue kue. Kue kue. Ya maa Hokule'a. E a ka wa'a e a Hokule'a ku. Holo ike kai. Hoi hoi. Hoi hoi. Holo ika i a. Hoi hoi. Hoi hoi. Hoi ike kai. Kue kue. Kue kue. Ya maa Hokule'a. E a ka wa'a e a Hokule'a ku.
At this time, we'd like to call up the two representatives for one for the Suquamish tribe, Leonard, and another for the Muckleshoot. Our Hokule'a and our Kupuna would like to present their gifts.
Iku mau mau. Ikua. Ku mau mau. Iku hulu hulu. Ikala na wau. Ikua. Ikula na wau. Ikua. Ikua huki. Ikua ko. Ikua mau. Mau kai hulu e hiki e kuria. Iku mau mau. Ikua. Iku mau mau. Iku hulu hulu. Ikala na wau. Ikua. Ikula na wau. Ikua. Ikua huki. Ikua ko. Ikua mau. Mau kai hulu e hiki e kuria. Iku mau mau. Ikua. Iku hulu hulu. Ikala na wau. Ikua. Ikula na wau. Ikua. Ikua huki. Ikua ko. Ikua mau. Mau kai hulu e hiki e kuria. Iku mau mau. Ikua. Iku mau mau. Iku hulu hulu. Ikala na wau. Ikua. Ikula na wau. Ikua. Ikua huki. Ikua ko. Ikua mau. Mau kai hulu e hiki e kuria. E huki e. Kuria. E huki e. Kuria.
right, thank you. At this time, I'd like to invite my boss, Commissioner Fred Fellman, to the stage. Commissioner Fellman of the Port of Seattle. Applause. Commissioner Fellman is currently the senior member of the Seattle Port Commission, having served on the commission for the past 6 years. Having worked to reduce environmental impact of cruise ship operations at the port since the vessel call over 20 years ago. He continues to be a leader in the advancement of marine conservation and maritime safety in the Pacific Northwest. Fred has long recognized that to maintain a healthy marine environment, it's critical to work with all those that depend on it. Shortly after being elected to the commission, Fred founded the port's Energy and Sustainability Committee. He also led the port's efforts to reduce its carbon footprint, to include expanding the use of shore power by ships, installing solar arrays on port buildings, and advancing the use of sustainable aviation fuels, amongst many other efforts I've got the chance to work with him on. He also serves on the commission as the tribal liaison and is keenly aware of the nexus between environmental protection and social equity. Increasing public awareness of the need to advance innovation in order to protect environment and to create jobs of the future underscores much of his work. And as I mentioned earlier, one of the founding leaders that allowed us to be able to get onto this journey to make today's possible. So now I'll hand the floor to Commissioner Fred Fellman.
This was not about Fred. That introduction is way too long. Thank you very much. It's dumbfounding. Actually, it is pretty overwhelming for me to be amongst all of you. And so let's give it up one more time for our great guests, our Muckleshoot and our Suquamish people. I'm going to start to drop my papers. No, I'm not nervous. So anyway, I'm Port of Seattle Commissioner Fred Fellman, as you just heard, and I'm really very honored to be able to be one of our hosts here today, and to officially welcome the crew of Hokule'a, as well as Hokule'a, and as well as the fleet we had, this beautiful fleet of the Polynesian canoe, as well as the Muckleshoot and Suquamish canoe families, and much great gratitude. I specifically want to acknowledge and express my deep respect and gratitude for the indigenous people of the lands and waters of Polynesian shores to welcome you to Elliott Bay. And I'm eager to learn more from the staff and crew of the boats and the Polynesian Voyage Society to work in collaboration, both in our lives, responsibility and sustainability, and the smoky haze that we're experiencing today is a stark reminder of this importance of working together on behalf of the environment. I also want to offer a brief word of condolences to our friends and family in Hawaii. Our thoughts with the residents and the first responders of Lahaina. I had the amazing fortune to spend 2 winters in 1981 and 82 for the opportunity to study humpback whales in Maui. And I am an aquatic personality and feel very closely connected to those who are similarly. And I'll never forget the kindness of the people I met in Hawaii, the beauty of the island and the impression of the spirit of aloha made my life a very important experience that I take with me personally, professionally, and carry through to as much as I can to reflect to other people. And really am heartbroken by the devastation that has occurred to your lands. Special thanks to Nate Caminos. He's been essential to pulling this off, so thank you. He informed me to wear a red shirt in respect to Lahaina, but man, do I have the wrong shoes for the job today. Anyway, so for many of us at the port, this tragedy does hit home, and many of our port employees are Hawaiian or have loved ones in Hawaii. And earlier this morning, the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, we welcomed 78 members of the Washington State Task Force 1 who returned from their recovery mission in Maui, and we thank them for their service. Additionally, our Port of Seattle police and fire departments have been working with the local law enforcement agencies in partnership with the Hawaiian and Alaska Airlines and our community partners at Malama Maui Fire Emergency Relief Effort and Donation Drive. This is one of many ways that we are providing support to the ongoing recovery effort, and to date, over 12,000 pounds of supplies have been sent to the island, a small token of our gestures. So Malama, as well, many of you know, in Hawaii means to care and protect. And I'm always struck by the generosity of our port employees, and then we want to recognize the Seattle Police Department Sergeant Anthony Kahului and for his leadership to make this effort possible as well. Thank you very much, Sergeant. And speaking of Malama, I'm personally inspired today's gathering and the opportunity it creates to amplify the voice of Indigenous people across the Pacific and here at home with the message you share with our communities and the world about how we can save the ocean, learn and lean forward with kindness and compassion, and share and protect our natural resources forever. As we gather here today, where there's no question in my mind, we need to work even harder to ensure that future for future generations and our kiki, who will be able to carry on and live in this beautiful but fragile world. And many thanks to Nainoa, Thompson, and many of our staff and crew of the Polynesian Voyage Society who are with us today. On behalf of the Port of Seattle, our visit, we give you this gift. Honored to stand along your side, and we hope you enjoy your stay and wish you the best voyage, uniting voices across the Pacific. So thank you. I raise your hands. I raise hands to you. And it's only because I care so much. I usually can speak better than this. But to protect you along the way, we have, I want to preside. Now they'll cut me off, I'm doing so bad. I want to present you this makana. And for several of you, the PWO navigator, Nainoa Thompson, as well as Captain Bruce Blankenfield, and this guy with the pink hat who rocked it on the dance floor. We want you to come up, as well as Uncle Randy, who was a key to our success here. So thank you all. Mahalo to you all. And do you have...
Thank you, Commissioner. One other round of applause. Thank you. I'd also like to acknowledge Tim Rainen, the Tribal Relations Director for the City of Seattle, is also here in the audience. Tim, thank you for being here on behalf of the city and all your work, and your colleagues too, in making today possible. But I will now pass the mic back to Sui-lan to introduce our next guest of honor and say a few words.
Mahalo. This is just beautiful. And I want to acknowledge that the shawl that I gave to Auntie Lita, I couldn't see Kumu Ivalani, but that was a gift for you, for all the hard work that you've continued to do to teach all of the communities in our Lahui and our Va'a community, and those who just love our culture and participate in our canoeing, the olis and all of the lei making, and just so much that are going on behind the scenes that to create this beautiful experience and memory for everyone. So Kumu Ivalani, if you could come to the front of the stage, please. Thank you. I love you. Thank you. Just go ahead and wrap you. So we're gonna allow you to do this now. And we're gonna go right into this. Before you even go in. So Kumu Ivalani, again, her tireless and efforts in creating this opportunity. You don't have to wear it. It's hot, I know. It's like it's hot. You know, and when a Hawaiian says it's hot, it's hot. Okay, she is going to bring up the next performers so that we can transition into the next space. So mahalo.
Hey Hawaii, hey mo, hey kanaka Hawaii, hey kanaka Hawaii, hey kamana Tahiti, hey puali I mai kapa ahu mai mua ulanui a ke a kanaloa, hey mo upuna naka hiko, lau o kapulana ke hao, na papa I ha nauna, ke kama wahine au, kukaleni e hu, lau a me kaha kaua koko, na pula aina I pai kahi, inu noho li ke kahikina, kamohana, pai li ke kumoku I lalani, hui aku hui mai me holani, Kuni kamoku o kaiala e kikilo, na hānuku hiwa, lele I pola pola. O ka hiko ki kumu aina, nana I mahele ka awale na moku. Moku ka aho lawai a ka hai, I o ki ai ku kanaloa. Pau ku na aina, na moku. Moku hiko o he kapua kanaloa. O hau mea manu ka hikele o mo I keha kalani, nā nai no. No hoku ulani ya Hawaii. Ola, ola, o kālana ola. Ole ke ali I ke kahuna. Ole ke kilo ke kaua. Noho ya Hawaii alulana kani mo o puna I kauai. O kauai ka moku. O mo I ke ha ke ali'i. E kamana Tahiti. La papa I hanau. O mo I ke ha kalani. No
So the traditional chant at Hawaii recounts the 12th century voyage that Chief Mo'ikea from Tahiti to Hawaii. Upon seeing the majestic coastlines of Hawaii Islands, the navigator Hōkūleʻa proclaimed, "Behold Hawaii, an island, a man, a child of Tahiti." To offer this special hula, Kumaʻiwalani them have just performed in front of us. And so really, again, our stories and our dances, they have meanings, right? They're not just a performance. There's a story and there's a history of our genealogy and our legacies behind them. So we appreciate, and again, Kumaʻiwalani, we honor you in passing those stories and those dances and traditions for us. At this time, I'm going to introduce Nainoa. The Hokule'a is a replica of the ancient Polynesian long-distance voyaging canoe. This past June, the Polynesian Voyaging Society, PVS, launched its 4-year trans-Pacific Wananui Kea voyage from Jonu. Over the last 3 months, Hokule'a has been visiting our relatives in First Nations and indigenous communities in the southeast of Alaska, along the coast of British Columbia, and is finally here to share with our relations in this area. So at this time, I would like to bring up a mentor of mine, someone that I've continued to look forward and guide us in the directions in our own journey.
PWO navigator and PVS CEO Nainoa Thompson has distinguished himself as a global leader in the indigenous science of traditional Pacific navigation. That is, navigating without modern instruments, using only the stars, wind, and currents. He is here today in Seattle to uplift indigenous knowledge and amplify the urgent call for action to restore our oceans and help heal the planet. Please welcome Mr. Nainoa Thompson.
Aloha mai kako. And thank you for the introduction. It's quite an honor, but this is not going to be easy because we're hurting at home. The Hōkūle'a, Hokule'a out there, when she was launched on March 7, 1975, we did not know anything. Everything was erased from our history and our genealogy. Nothing was left except fragments of stories of canoes and navigators. And so the introduction to me is honorable, but really what we need to do is introduce our teachers. P.I. Luke, the master navigator. Miracles are real. He was the one that came in 1976 and navigated 2,400 miles of open ocean to hit an island that's less than 1 degree on the compass. Master navigator P.I. Luke, then the other miracle, he'd come back for 25 years and take us by the hand like children, pull us to the window of time into the old ocean. And in that school of the master, we're still in kindergarten because there's a very, very deep place that he calls magic in the navigation that you have to find yourself. Essentially, he can teach us, he says, I'll teach you how to find Tahiti, I'll teach you how to find Hawaii, but the magic, you need to find it in yourself. That's something very, very deep. It's ancestral, and it's hard to find it. And you won't if you doubt. You won't if you don't have faith. And it's hard in this world to be that way. Eddie Aikau. And the whole Aikau family. the richest family I know, because they hold forgiveness and love and aloha as their definition of wealth. Eddie was the one who would go to save his friends. But what he did was he saved that canoe. I don't like to talk about sacrifice because essentially he became the beam of light that would help us understand it's okay to be afraid. Help us understand when you shine that light that sometimes the greatest definition of courage is when you need to do what you do even though you're scared. Aloha, Eddie, Saul, Myra, rest of the ohana. I want to bring into this room that's on the canoe now Herb Kawainui Kane and Dr. Ben Finney, the founders of the Polynesian Voyaging Society. It's not the society that's important, it's the idea that these two men, one was an anthropologist that said he came to Hawaii in 1958, and a woman professor in the whole university, 10 campus systems, you can count them on one hand if they're a woman. And his name was Catherine Luamala. Handed Ben Finney, the anthropologist, said, here's 2 books, read them, they're wrong, change them. Kantiki. We did not come from the Americas. We went to the Americas. And then Andrew Sharp was another, he was a well-known anthropologist in New Zealand. He said, no, we had canoes, but Polynesian did not have the intelligence to navigate more than 100 miles. How do you account for Hawaii? Were they that stupid? And we've done mathematical probabilities of getting what he was saying, lost in storms. The probability of finding Hawaii in a storm is 0. We come from genius. We come from greatness. We come from the genealogy of the greatest navigators on the earth. The other one that I want to bring into this room is my father. Google him. Him and Eddie help us understand what courage is when you're most afraid. He took his son by the hand, and every time something would knock me down because of doubt, because of absence of faith, because you don't believe that you can accomplish, he'd be there kindly to pick me up, get off the ground. He's on the canoe today. These are the ones that must be acknowledged, and there's 1,000 more that we don't have time for. But my job is really to acknowledge you. Chief Leonard Forsman, mahalo for giving us the permission to come to your waters and stand on your land. Without it, we don't come. And to the whole Suquamish for just the endless demonstrations of kindness through gathering us, feeding us, taking care of us. And the same for the Muckleshoot. We wanted to be there at the amazing journey. It's a world-class, amazing journey. Not just the paddling, but the fact that how you paddle. That you collect from one place to another, and there's no losers. We do it together. And it's about a powerful story of native intelligence and unity. If we divide, we fail the next generation. The only path is to unify. Muckleshoot is a demonstration of that is across the world. We chose not to come because we could have maybe came if we went as fast as we could through British Columbia, but we couldn't go through your waters and without respecting your place. So we didn't have the time if respect mattered as a value. And so we are humbly and grateful for the invitation. I want to can I bring my students next year and paddle with you guys from Hawaii? Yeah. But thank you again for the permission to be here, the Muckleshoot Ohana. And thanks, Seattle. I got a long list. They told me to do this. So I was not part of the planning committee, but I've heard words like the Port of Seattle. Can't do it without you, without your authority. Commissioner, thank you for being here. Couldn't do it without you. Bell Harbor Marina is a place that will care for us, but allow us to share this canoe while we're here. It's a place to safely put community onto the canoes. Our crew can share those that want to learn something about that sacred vessel of ours. The waterfront in Seattle and Seattle Visit, and I know this list is much longer than that. I do want to thank Nate. I keep hearing the name Nate. I was so worried about you, but the amount of load you had and when would you crack, but you did. And I've been, waiting because I heard the Hawaiian community was coming. I've been waiting to get here. Grateful for Bruce and his crew to bring it here because this is your canoe. It's your home, it's your bar. And for you to be here, just know that it means everything to us. And the Outrigger Canoe Club Association, all the canoes that are out there, thank you. So we don't come in alone. We don't come empty. And the Unkitawa tribal group, we're grateful that we're able to share this space with you today. Why I'm struggling today is that it's hard to be away from home when home needs us the most. So I'm going to, with permission, to ask Leonard if we can, if you believe that prayer has power, if you believe that prayer can transcend and cross thousands of miles of oceans, if you believe that prayer matters, we know that because on this canoe we've been through things that we had no control, out of control. Something else was navigating, something else was keeping us safe. And I would like to ask that if you choose, bring your own individual spiritual beliefs to be in this collection of people. Bring your teachers on mind that helped you become who you are and why you're here. If we could have a silent prayer for Lahaina, for all that we lost and all that remain, to pray for them and their belief that someday they'll be able to go back home and rebuild beautiful lives and beautiful families. That amongst all the tragedy that is so crushing, I can't even imagine it. So I'm in this state of denial because it touches the nerve so far down deep, so hard that it hurts. But if we could have a silent prayer for them, and all in Hawaii that is doing such an amazing, amazing job of sending love and aloha in an infinite amount of ways to help care and protect for those that need it the most. Pulikako. Lahaina, we love you. We're here where we need to be, but we will be home with a canoe. Mahalo to all of you. Thank you. Moana Nui Akea is a name that is a word that transcends all the islands of Polynesia, which is 10 million square miles of ocean. It's 3.5 times bigger than this, the continental United States. It's the biggest nation on the planet. It's 600 times more water than land when you exclude the landmass of New Zealand. This is an ocean country. Moana Nui Akea, for me, means the ocean of the great expanse. Why do we name this voyage Moana Nui Akea? Because it's our firm belief as students of navigation, watching nature and watching us change it. We're watching humanity change the earth. The earth is now changing us, and we don't know what to do. Every single story from media, every single story from the social media is about how bad nature is, how dangerous nature is. Every story is about fear. And we will do nothing if we act out of fear alone. Moana Nui Akea is a voyage to celebrate these oceans. Moana Nui Akea is the firm belief that there will be no healthy living systems on the earth without a healthy oceans. And make it worse, if you want to really be afraid, kill the ocean, you kill us. We're firm. We're sailing hard. We're sailing for a belief that the ocean's connections to our people is everything. So we're protecting essentially the security and the future of our children. That's why we're here. We are here to discover. We're here to explore. We're here to connect and build global relationships around the things that we find common. Mission and values. And that is why we chose to start this giant circle. We went around the world, right? This voyage is longer in time and distance because the Pacific, Moana Nui Akea, is so big. We chose the Pacific Northwest because we firmly believe that in the Pacific Northwest, the first peoples of this land know more about the secret code, to crack the code about sustainability and care of the oceans. Why wouldn't you? Because you've been here for 12 to 14,000 years, and your environment is still rich. It has life. It's beautiful. It's powerful. And we came here because we believed that we could learn the most from you. I think you guys have the code to be able to take care of the earth. We came to understand that. And it's been a beautiful journey. And because we are going to go 47 months, 43,000 miles, and basically, so far in the last 101 days, we went about 2,000 miles. So a tiny part of the voyage started here in Yakutat, Alaska, in Yakutat Bay, because that is the birthplace of Byron Malott, the great leader of the Tlingit. He died during COVID, not of COVID, but he was responsible for getting us the trees to build our second canoe after this one called Hōkūle'a, because we forgot so much we didn't care for our forest. There are no trees big enough in Hawaii to build one hull of a voyaging canoe. If they were there 2,000 years and we built 50 years, 50 years, if we built 50 canoes in 2,000 years, that's 100,000 canoes. We can't build one. That story has changed everything about our direction of voyaging and what we need to protect. Coming down your coast was about 2,000 miles. We started in Yakutat Bay, and we ended here in Seattle today. We went to, in Alaska, 11 different First Nations and tribes. In British Columbia, it's the same. We went to 11. And we were seeking out to learning about the ocean, and we found out a part of the code that we try, because we're not going to be able to protect what we don't understand. And we can't do it if we don't care its values. And we can't do it by ourselves. We've got to come together. And so the thing that was so interesting about being with you, and the fact that every single place we went to, we needed permission to cross your waters. We needed permission to touch your dirt, touch your sand, touch your tribal house. And when we came in, I learned two profound stories. Tribal house to big house. That you're here for such a long time, and yet your relationship between nature is about family. You're not outside the family, you are the family. You're part of nature. Because if you're not, then you abuse nature, you take away your future. And that was maintained for 14,000 years. You know climate change, you've been through an ice age. And so you adapted and you understood. That's what we were thinking about. But what drove an indigenous group to do that? And so every place that we went to, we heard the stories of trauma, the last 250 years. The kind of levels of hurt that I don't understand. I've never been through that. The stories of loss, the stories of pandemics sweeping through your communities. And in some places, the pandemic was intentional. These are the stories you told us. And the things about all the takings, and then creating schools by law, and allows some stranger to walk into your house and take your kids. And some of them don't come home. There's no report. But we're finding the remains now. When I think about that stories, you can hear the pain, and you would think that it equates to hate. You think that it allows you the permission to reach out in violence. It allows you to separate yourself across racial lines and the color of your skin. It allows you to lash out at those who are so hurting. But what was so amazing is that you don't. You don't forget those stories. But every single place I went to, story after story, what I learned from you, what's more powerful than hate, what's more powerful than violence, what's more powerful than racism, it is the most powerful thing that we have, tool, it's love. And with you in these tribal places, we understood the harshness of those stories, but you made the thing that we all need to make. We need to choose our future. And when every time that you had these incredible acts of loving, caring, it strengthened us. village after village. That love is the only way. And what it seemed is that would bind, and I might be wrong, what seemed to bind people with love is making sure we're simple and clear. And what I understand, and why Lahaina is so hard for me now, is because it's love of family. It's love of home, and it's love of children. That's all. It's that simple. I see the grace and the dignity emerge because you chose to, against every single forces that hurt you. I think that choice to be loving is the most powerful thing. And I don't think there's a solution on this planet without it. So, we can't thank you enough for all that you gave us. You treated us with respect, and you treated us with grace. Every single crew members, about 75 of them, had a chance to travel down your coast into the Intercoastal Marine Highway. Everyone is changed. You are now, because of this voyage, shaping what we believe is important to the equation. The equation to make a choice. Instead of war, let's choose peace. Instead of hate, let's choose love. Instead of violence, I watched you grab someone and hug them and take it out of them. And what it meant the most to me was, I was born on my grandfather's dairy farm in the Ahupua'a, Niu, in the Bay of Maunulua. There were only 10 houses then, and everybody knew each other. It was kind of like the villages we went to. And in that place, it was such a strong reminder being with you that people on the dairy farm were hard workers. They were not wealthy. But every afternoon they would get together and they would laugh and they would tease and they would take care of each other to make sure everybody was okay. Back then, in the 10 houses, me and my sister and brother, we could go anywhere because it was safe. It's different now. But being with you on this voyage, it reminds me about my grandfather and the time when it was healthy, and the time when the ocean was rich, a time that we gave away. My greatest regret on my life this year is watching my oceans in Hawaii get killed and didn't do anything about it. But you do. I'm not saying that you're not fierce. You are. You're fierce at protecting what you need and what you love in a loving way. You also reminded me, being with you on the journey, what it is to be Hawaiian and what it is to be proud. Because I do know that your equation includes a different definition of wealth. You don't measure your wealth by what you accumulate, you measure it by what you give away. That's Hawaiian. That's aloha. That's a form of love. Being with you, to some degree, even though we're 2,300 miles away across the oceans, we're not. When we go into every one of your big houses, your tribal houses, we are, whether we like it or not, family. And those family values is binding us. All I would say to end this is that this is not the end of the trip from British Columbia and Alaska. This is the beginning. That we need to use forms of technology, forms of other kinds of education to stay together, elevate the voice, be present on the earth, because we don't know what to do, but you do, because you proved it over thousands and thousands of years. So I hope you can understand that's why we came here first, because in many ways you become powerful teachers of ours. And on behalf of our crew, Captain Bruce, and all the others that sailed here, We're deeply honored to be here. Grateful. And I think your stories and your prayers are going to help Lahaina. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Nainoa, Kumu, Kapuna. I just, I want to thank all of our elders. I want to acknowledge our elders and the stories that they've been able to share with us, because it's because of that that we all sit here today. And it's because of that knowledge that they hold and that they transfer with us that we are all here today. And that, and the importance of this and what it's done even in my own journey, and all of those that have contributed to us in our positions that we are now. And so now we hold a responsibility. We are gifted from our elders that knowledge, the stories, and the ike, right? And then we now hold a responsibility, because in our cultures, you can't be taught something and not hold a responsibility to that. And that's where we sit in our positions today. So we're going to transition. I'm going to turn the mic over. And again, we appreciate everyone who has contributed to this amazing moment. And we have some gifts for everyone at the end as well.
Thank you, sui-lan. As we bring our welcome ceremony to a close, we'd like to thank the many people that made today's event possible. The Suquamish, Muckleshoot, the Port of Seattle, Friends of the Waterfront, Visit Seattle, the great Hawaiian community here at Puget Sound, the Outrigger Canoe community, and all of our state, city, and county leaders, and the community at large. Mahalo. This afternoon from 1 to 4:30 p.m., the general public is invited to take a tour of the Hokule'a, so please join in the crew at the floating dock from 1 to 4:30. It also, starting tomorrow too, on through Tuesday, there will also be tours of the Hokule'a at the B&C docks at Bell Harbor Marina, just north of us here at Pier 62. And from noon to 6 p.m. Will be the Unkitawa powwow right here at this very spot. At this time, Unkitawa, an indigenous collective of artists, performers, and culture bearers, has a presentation for the Hokule'a that will close our formal ceremony and begin the powwow celebration. With that, I hand it off to John Romero and Unkitawa.
Hi, my name is Edna Waina, enrolled member of Yakima Tribe. I'm the executive director for Unkitawa. We are an indigenous nonprofit. Unkitawa is centered in traditional practices to help heal and support communities through ceremony, arts, and cultures, with a vision of 7 generations of ancestral healing. Our headquarters is located in Kent, Washington. It is crucial to preserve and honor indigenous cultures and traditions. By working together, we can ensure that these rich and diverse legacies continue to thrive. We are going to present a gift. The eagle feathers are to honor the bravery and recognize the brave and good deeds you would have earned if you lived among us. The hawk feet are prepared in a good way as a blessing when the wing nation and represent the dedication it requires to protect your people. It is considered an honor to receive a staff. Few people receive one. It needs to have a keeper. The staff is a gift from Unkitawa to your organization as a representation of goodwill between our peoples. The great grass plains and the ocean both led to a culture of travel and warrior cultures. We honor you with the staff as a gesture of goodwill and an ambassadorial gift. In our way, once a gift is given, it belongs to the receiver, and at the same point, the road, if you dream one worthy to pass it on, it is yours to gift. The staff is now on a journey with you as many migrating animal would have done before. We offer prayers to you for good health and safe travels. Navigator of Great Canoe, please come forward.
Transition at this point. We're going to let Ukitawa come on.